guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into a few things for tonight. I had just done about a 40-minute video because I wanted to go into my rig log in a little more extent. I wanted to go into tonight's game. Something interesting I found out with the props, and then also I was going into just different things behind the weeds to do with the channel. Now we're at 1,000. A lot of things actually changed that I'm going to be going into. If you know, our last channel got shut down at 1,000, and we had a good night tonight. We did good on the Lions. I'm gonna go into why I think that they won. Again, I just did this on my laptop about 10 minutes in. Mic cut out. I had no way of knowing. So since luckily we just freestyle, we're gonna be doing that again now. Something interesting, and I wanted to go ahead and thank Hassan because he brought this to my attention. Now, I brought this up just a few videos ago. If you hadn't seen a video that I put out, it was a couple videos ago. Just brought it up in jest because this happened to us last time. We were right around. We hit a good mark. More eyes were on the channel, and sure enough, every day someone's like, "This guy copied you. That guy copied you." Now, I paid a little bit of credence at first, but then I realized that they not only copied me, they were basically stalking me. They watched all my videos, watched my channels, commented on them to the point where I had to block them, joining my Discord, and then telling me that, I never gave you any grief, I always left you alone. Just blatant lies. So it is humbling. It is something that I appreciate because it means we're doing something right. But these people are dirty. So I went into the channels before. We're at 1,000 now. I'm going to be posting on Rumble too, because what happened last time we got shut down, entire rig log, because I have the rig log, I post everything live. I still had it, of course, but the videos they wipe all your videos. And what happens is, not the log, but the narrative, the theories, all of our picks that we had going into that week, these other channels just steal, and then they use all of your stuff going forward, and you're off the internet, so there's nothing that you can do. It's not like even if you start a new channel like we did, that's why I made this rig log, so people could see in live time. Wow, we're actually profiting people. We're offering value. We're not just saying I told you so afterwards. So we've done incredibly well. That's why I made this rig log. It's like a safeguard. We do everything in advance. But yeah, I appreciate Hassan because, it's one thing if people are going to try and take some ideas. I brought up a million times, a lot of the ideas I come up with, people give to me in the Discord. If someone gives me a gematria idea on YouTube or in the Discord, I'm going to say, hey, that's interesting. And if I use that into my determination, I always give the person credit. That's just the way it should be. These other people, I'll have people telling me, when I go incognito, I can't see my comment on their channel. I wonder why. They're banning you and stealing your comments. So you can imagine what they do to the other channels like me. And again, it's not like a victim complex thing. It's just the facts. Every day now, because I went out of my way to block these people. I don't know if you are familiar, if you've been in like a real toxic relationship, and then here's our Lions-Packers play. These are my buy me a coffee picks. We're actually doing really well on there too. I do baseball plays on there, just extra ones that we're not able to get out in a video. If I think of it, I'll throw it in there. But anyway, if you've ever been in a really toxic relationship and at the end it's just like, oh my gosh, her voice is making me mad, I gotta leave the room, I can't even see her face, can't see her, I listen to her voice. Or if you're watching a guy on the news that you really can't stand and you're like, oh my gosh, when this guy talks it makes me aggravated, I gotta leave. That's what these channels have done to me. So like everyone always says like, oh, I don't follow. I genuinely don't. I think it's better to just completely keep people distance where I don't know what they're doing. But when it's brought to my attention, as it often is via post, people that watch both channels, then of course I'm going to address it just because it's something I think people need to see, but exactly what's going on here. It's very easy to deceive people. But this has happened to us once already. So I bring it up now because, again, we're doing really well. Just since football season started, up well over 20 units netted, and nothing is seeming to stop it. It's just a great system. And we offered the system last year, got shut down right at 1,000 before it. And now, again, the same individual that's in the Discord, trying to join the Discord, copying my videos, made a troll account specifically saying, guys could probably find it. Hey, I made this to troll other guys. Now it's going to troll you, and I'm going to try and get you shut down. So when people are resorting to those dirty tactics, because the other tactics have not worked, those other tactics being trying to elicit some kind of response that would get me going after them on their channel, something of that nature, and then they can report me for harassment. Or in some cases, I'm seeing small channels where they've challenged them to boxing matches. I've seen the boxing matches go both ways. I've probably been invited to a few. But again, I don't pay attention to them. So they'll tag you in their videos, or other channels, and then hope that you take the bait. I never did. So again, in my case, it seems to be, it was I went into it right at 1,000, and the same individual that was copying us last time, as we got there pretty shamelessly, like he had a feeling we were going to get something might have happened, is now saying, oh yeah, I'm going to troll you and try and do everything to get you shut down. So it's just a tactic. It's a dirty one to then this individual can just say, oh yep, all this stuff is stuff I came up with. And again, it's just, those are just the facts. Now I go into it because I'm going to be posting on Rumble. It's really the best alternative. I'll still post on here, of course, but being on Rumble just makes it a lot easier. These people wait for my videos like you'd think that they were my number one fan, and they have my stuff out there apparently on their videos within hours, whether I go live or put a video out, or they just want to hear one thing that maybe I said wrong. They're just putting out so many videos on the old channel, and then I think they just assumed. Now again, a lot of the people that did this are gone and out of the sector, but the few bottom dwellers left, I think they just assumed, okay, well now he's nothing. We built back up, and now they're doing the same thing all over again. So again, whatever you hear, that's fine. I just wanted to explain that, yeah, it's never taking the bait with these people. I'm just going to keep doing my channel the way I do, and there's a reason I offer my rig log. So anybody that watches, if it's your first time watching, you go watch back from video 1 in the playlist, and I've actually recently condensed all the college and football into the same playlist because they're all our picks. So you go watch every single video. There's like 43 of them now, and see 42, 43, something like that, and you'll be able to see, wow, in live time, every single pick that was, that we put out there was what we put out beforehand, how much we were going to put on the game, and then it won. And we didn't win every one, but again, we're over 20 units in the net. We went over 100 units last season. Maybe part of the reason we got shut down. We're the only channel that can make the claim, hey, if you tailed, you made money. It's as simple as that. But let's go into the game. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I appreciate it, Hassan. I appreciate everyone that brings these things to my attention. And that's the reason the Discord's, I know a lot of people want to get in the Discord, but it makes it difficult because I'm always we got raided by channels before. They've actually posted on the community, hey, raid NSC's Discord. Pat did that, the pedophile dude. And it's just a tactic that's done. They'll come in and they'll either talk about somebody else, oh, this guy's the best, try and, push them, or way worse, just steal information, come in there and say horrible things to make the Discord look bad. We have a really fun and positive Discord, so I'm just trying to keep it that way. But I'll make sure people get in due time. But as you can see, I've had to ban some unflattering people, to put it lightly. So tonight's game, to me, it was a matter of nobody believed in the Lions. Like, not to win this game, but coming into the season, people were like, yeah, the Lions, they're all hype. And they're being compared to Colorado for a reason. Dan Campbell's being compared to Dion. It's because they have that type of team. So Vegas putting them as better favorites to win the division than the Vikings, I found very suspicious at the beginning of the season. If you go back and watch my video on that, I picked the Lions to make the playoffs, win the division, and the Vikings to not make the playoffs. And I even said I thought the Vikings would finish last in the division. And I have a theory on them that I'm going to go into that I think you guys will find interesting. But tonight was just a beatdown. I had gone into, a lot of people were saying, well, Detroit's won so many in a row in Green Bay, maybe things change. New England over the Jets. The Browns over the Bengals. The Steelers over the Browns. The Texans over the Jags. They've been doing it all year where they're having teams continue streaks, and furthermore, they're having home teams lose when they shouldn't. So I went with Green Bay for to lose because they'll just do the flipperoo. Okay, maybe Green Bay wins in Detroit because they know people are more inclined to take when you have two close teams take the team that's home. So that's why I made it a leg 3. And that's why the system works so well. I'm able to really save picks that I would for leg 3. Now let's look at this box score, because for a minute I did think I was watching the 2005 Chiefs. We can see that Montgomery got 32 carries. What a perfect palindrome, almost 3-2, 1-2, 1-3, like forward and backwards, almost perfect. But again, you could say maybe a coincidence. But one thing I found interesting is there were so many people that were tweeting about this. Like, basically, now in the last 30 minutes, I'm seeing a lot of damage control. Like, hey, it's not a big deal. But basically, everyone was pointing out the obvious. This guy was averaging 5-6 yards a carry. He's your young guy. And towards the middle end of the game, the Montgomery was, as RGB's bringing up, Montgomery was, getting bruised up. He was doing a lot of hard runs. So I don't think it could be a coincidence that he got those little carries, except they knew people were going to be on him on the prop and not Montgomery. So JBA Football had a couple takes they put out, basically saying exactly why Gibbs didn't get his yards. But you better believe this screwed over a lot of fantasy players and prop players. And in my video, I even said, I'm not playing props, but if I were to, I'd probably go Gibbs, but you should do the opposite of whatever I say. And sure enough, his backup gets 3, probably like 20-1 odds on that. And I thought about it, and I'm like, 34 points and 1 touchdown from the quarterback, none from the running back that people expected, a 4-1 carry ratio. I don't think it could be an accident, And Love, look what he did. He threw 1. Most people are going to bet 2. So what did they do? They had him run 1 in. So I think capitalizing on that is going to be great this year. Backup tight ends, running backs you wouldn't expect, and picking people to get multiple touchdowns, because instead of it being spread out and you hit a 3-4 person, now one guy gets 3 and nobody's going to take that. Tua just dropped 70 on almost a record on the Broncos, and Tua only had 4 touchdowns. Not like 4 is good, but you would think with that kind, if 70 is only getting you 4, then 35 is probably going to get you 2, maybe 3. It's going to be a rough year for people trying to pile on, like, I'll take a quarterback to throw 3 touchdowns, and then I'll take 3 different receivers on that team. I think Vegas is onto that. So I find that very interesting. Now, I want to go into 2 things. One's a quick theory, so I should go into that first. And the other is this game. The Dolphins-Bills game, I like this game a lot. It was, again, to my video that cut out, I had gone into why I like the fact I like the Dolphins, and I'm going to go into that in 1 second. I'm going into this theory first because I find it interesting, and if you can get odds now on a draft pick or on a team to finish last, I would undoubtedly take the Minnesota Vikings. For the reason being, I always thought it was already thought it was interesting that they had Caleb Williams. Obviously, he's going to go to the first team who finishes for last in the division, or last in the record pool. Well, the Bears, I think they're going to stick with Fields. The Texans, they're getting a first pick. They're not taking Caleb, so I think they're not going to have him go second either. So Texans out of the question. I would say the Panthers out of the question. A lot of teams in that, even the Broncos, they have Russ signed to a long deal. Cousins, who's getting older, and now Jefferson, he'd be matched up with Jefferson, is an interesting story. But what makes it more interesting is the fact that so I think if you can get odds, because I doubt the books have the Vikings finishing dead last, on the Vikings to get Caleb or them to finish dead last, those would be great odds. I just wanted to cover that now because I might forget about it, and I thought it would be a good thing to go into. My book doesn't have such odds yet, but hopefully pretty soon. Now, Miami-Buffalo, I wanted to go into this game. I like Miami. Very similar logic to last night technically. I had, it's a game where it looks like it's 50-50. I think people are going to edge Buffalo, the team that's at home. Josh Allen's coming off a really good performance. So Tua is obviously coming off a record performance, a couple of them. But I still think there's some doubters. And at the very least, Buffalo Bills at home are not going to get faded too hard. So I always say narratives reign supreme. I think they're going to have, I think a little more money will be on Buffalo. and I think the Dolphins are going to be the last undefeated team. I'm seeing comparisons to the 1972 Dolphins, and I don't think they're going to finish undefeated. I really don't. But what I think they're going to do is have it where now we could be in week 7 or 8. They might still be undefeated, the only one, and then they can start talking. Hey, are they going to do it? Are they going to be the team to do it? So I think it's going to be more of that. Well, they'll have it for narrative perspectives, but they're not going to actually pull the trigger. But I do think they're going to win this game. I like them to win straight up. So obviously, if you've seen my video, you know how it works. But if not, this system is the reason we're doing so well. It has nothing to do with the picks. The picks help, obviously, but the system is what really is our bread and butter. So you can see every time we close one, it's a unit netted because it's 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units, unless we do a money line on like a leg 3 here where we got the Lions who paid us 4 units. So the Lions paying us really well this year. Now, if we lose a leg 3, that's a 7. Again, all of these are on my playlist, so you can cross-reference every single game. That's a 7 unit loss. Not fun, but you can see that the ones that we net more than mitigate it. We get way more wins. So that was these 2 in a row are our second and third 3-legged loss. So it sounds like a lot. It's 21 units between the 3. But when you add up all of the other sequences, especially when we're getting +4 and we're getting +1.5, +2 on a lot of them, and the fact that we're almost 50 sequences in, you can see it quickly mitigates that 7 unit loss for and we to profit for every time we lose a 7-leg, a 3-legger at 7 units, we need to win 7 units. Just in the last couple days, we've won 7 units. It's just because you see we got 5 alone from the Cardinals victory, so that almost mitigated one of our only 3. We only have 3 of them 3-legged losses. So, in my opinion, it's just a very proven system. We netted over hundreds of units last year. Again, we were shut down, but we bounced back, and I think we're going to do well over 100 this football season. So as you can see, we have some leg 2s in play. I like the Dolphins as a leg 2. Again, we really don't have many leg 3s. I'll probably say something else for this Henry prop. Actually, no, play here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you play it. It's going to be about 130. You might get 125. Depending on if you get 2.5 points or 3. And it's as simple as that. This is what we do every video. And again, it's probably one of the reasons that the other channels have some sour grapes, because it's proven, and we're not just saying we told you so afterwards. People are making money off this, and it's why I think there's a lot of controlled oppo out there. I don't know who would be upset, love or hate me, anyone that is out there, if they've watched or if other, whatever the case may be, would have to say, yep, if you tailed from the beginning of the rig log in football season this year or last year, you're up exponentially. Like, those are the facts. So you'd think more people would want people making money. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I said we had 2 wins tonight just because we played this game. I went into this in my college video. I picked about 10 teams. And to me, it was just one where you have a team that was 0-4 on the over in Jacksonville State. I don't think they've gone over all year. I always take teams that are terrible on the over, or I fade them if they're really good on the over. Same thing with the spreads. It works very well. You're not going to have a handful of teams finishing under 20% on a spread or on an over-under. So we have a good bit of college games for tomorrow, or Thursday. I'm sorry, technically tomorrow. It's going to be Saturday. I have a couple leg 2s. But yeah, as I said, we've closed the leg 3s. We have a couple pending, but whether, we don't want like 10 leg 3s pending, because it's like rushing through a video game and then you get to the end and you got 10 final bosses. You're not going to build too well. So here what I like to do is, and before I move on with too many new sequences, I like to close all the ones we have open. So you can see we have a very few hanging chads. We had a push here. This one's in, I love Colorado. I played them as a leg 3. I think they're going to cover that spread. here's a loss, UConn back, hanging Chad back on sequence 15. So we'll be closing all them. But like I said, we're up. I haven't done an official tally. I know it's over 20 units. I think it is around 25 units as we stand net. And these are the picks I like for Saturday. And yeah, I like the Dolphins. I was thinking about making it a leg 3 because we could make it a leg 3 for the one that we have open. But I think there's better games. I really do. Especially after seeing the 1 o'clock games. Sometimes they help us making our decision with the 4 o'clock games. So yeah, I just wanted to go into a bunch of different things. You can expect to see. I have a Rumble account already. So I'll probably start uploading there, just in case. You never know. Especially when you have very petty people that are admittedly trying to mess with the channel. So, again, I appreciate everybody that's helpful and understands that we're just a movement and we're going to continue growing. And those, whatever people might try, that's fine. I appreciate people that bring it to my attention, but there's nothing I can do about it. People are going to do what they do. And, again, we got a lot of petty egomaniacs in this sector. So yeah, sorry if you were watching the video and the mic cut out. I wanted to get this out as quick as possible, so this should be good. My phone's been working good as far as the screen recorder. Hopefully the audio is not an issue. I think I got it figured out. I had an incompatible screen recorder app, and then on my laptop end it's archaic, so anytime I move a certain way, sometimes the mic cuts out. It happened in my last live video, so I'll figure that stuff out. But yeah, let me know what you think. Again, it's being played on a palindrome day. I find that very interesting. But yeah, I think the Dolphins improved to 4-0. I like them on the straight win for the money line as a leg 2. And I will have most of our 1 o'clock games out either later today, so later, Friday, or tomorrow. If I see any more college plays, I'll put them out as well. I think Vikings is an interesting spread, especially with the theory I just went into. Could definitely see Bryce picking up his first win. I think that would be really smart to pound on. Vikings finish. Maybe, you could pick them last in the division for now, I guess, because some books have better odds than mine and better futures. Mine hasn't offered which team is going to draft the first overall pick or draft Caleb. I wish it did. I'd be on the Vikings yesterday, but it's not there yet, but I think it will be soon. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think the Lions went well. I think we're going to have a repeat with the Dolphins-Bills. Basically the same thing, the away team. That you can argue these teams have a lot in common. Obviously the Dolphins are more explosive, but they have a little bit in common, those two teams, from the coaching aspect as well. McDaniels is another one who's been, I think his name's McDaniels, but the coach for the Dolphins. He's been compared to Campbell. He's been compared to Dion. So it's funny how they're just randomly comparing all these guys to Dion. Makes me think that their teams are going to do good this year. But yeah, I'm curious what you think about Montgomery. I thought that was hilarious. And I think we're going to continue to have a really good football weekend. And especially with a lot of these college picks. But the London game looks like it's going to be a lock, in my opinion. And I think we have a good read over the target. We've been hitting really good lately. We broke our primetime rut. We missed a few primetime games in a row, so it was nice to get the Lions. So that's usually how it goes, right? So I think we'll go on a nice little primetime streak. We usually do good with primetime, so we'll see how that goes. And again, I appreciate everyone that's, again, well intent in Discord and on the YouTube channel. I appreciate you all. I always try and showcase that, but I always like to, it's never a victim complex thing. I like to just go into why people are behaving certain ways and then certain things that happen that you might not know about. So when things are brought to my attention, I like to at least address them. But as I said, I really do just distance myself from all of that because it's just downright toxic. It's Amber Heard, Johnny Depp toxic, these people. It's pretty bad. And you don't really see it until, their ugliness starts coming out, which it gets more and more extreme with each time they fail. So that's fine. I said from the beginning we were going to bounce back stronger than ever we have. And I think it's just going to continue like a boulder going down a hill, or in this case, Montgomery going down a hill. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.